More on all of this, let's bring Michael Makovsky in, the President and CEO of the Jewish Institute of National Security of America, former Pentagon official as well. Thank you for coming in. It's good to see you. Okay. So what, we're just, it's almost like one big conversation, watching video come in, Iran's responding. Just give us your perspective kind of now on where you think we stand right now.
Yeah. Well, if I may address something that General Clark said on that.
Please. Yeah, go ahead.
I actually I agree with a lot he said, but I disagree with on Trump's approach to this. I think, and you just raised it, it looks like more today we're behind the Israelis.
Well, it does. Yeah, to me at least, some of the comments.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely, but I don't think it's enough. I think that, Secretary Rubio said basically this is a unilateral attack, so we distance it. Now that it's gone pretty well, it's gone very well. Then President Trump started complimenting more, said it was excellent, we gave her the weapons and so on. That's good, but I think we need to be more forward-leaning. I think it's good that they're helping the Israelis defend their airspace, but I think we have to be very clear that we stand with Israel. And I'll tell you, and ideally you'd want to help the Israelis, but if you're not, there are little ways you could help them. You don't have to bomb Fort L. You could help them with area refueling. But I think for the United States, this is a core issue to prevent a nuclear Iran. The Israelis are doing this. We honestly should be doing it with them. But if we're not going to do it with them, we have to be clear that we're with them.
Right.
And I think if we don't do that,
what would be clear that we're like they're intercepting some of the missiles?
That's
coming
good.
in. Okay, right.
But Biden did that also.
So what would be the next?
I mean, the ideal thing would be that we would work with the Israelis. We would collaborate with them to attack Fort Al, where we have capabilities like with these.
It's a nuclear facility that's really buried.
That's right. In our B-2s or B-52s, they could drop those heavy bombs, the 30,000-pound bombs. That would be the ideal thing. If we're not going to do that, we could do lesser things like area refueling. But I think it's important signal to the Chinese and other adversaries that we need to show that we're going to, one, defend our core interests,
right,
which preventing a nuclear Iran is, and also stand by a close ally.
President Trump has an interesting political coalition, as you know, here at home, and he came into office, and he's, as a political figure, at least, he's always been someone who tries to avoid war, right? I mean, he speaks about it publicly all the time, and a lot of his supporters support him, at least in part because of that, right? So he has to manage all of that as well, right? What do you think? How do you think he should?
Well, I mean, I think you're right. He has to manage that. Already, I see Tucker Carlson is already angry at him. It says that you're going to lose a lot of your base. Well, okay, but he's got to do what's good for the United States. And actually, I think the more that if we show no daylight with the Israelis, that we show we're with them, that's an American first policy, because then the Chinese and the Russians know that we're going to stand by our allies. By the way, our other close allies in the region, they're also looking, if we're not going to stand, if we're going to be like a bystander, or if our biggest role is going to be that we help the Israelis fool the Iranians,
right?
We're the United States. This is a core issue. We have 5 presidents. Wait, excuse me. We have, I have to count, but basically for the last 30 years, we have presidents, Democratic and Republican, said we'll prevent a nuclear Iran. So are we or not?
What do you think was really going on behind the scenes? For example, I saw there was like somebody had a report earlier today. I think it was Axios, but there was a report earlier that says, well, maybe Trump and his allies were kind of pretending not to be with Israel. It was, they were playing one against the other in public. And behind the scenes, they're more supportive. And now, as I said earlier, throughout the day, this is the report, throughout the day, we have seen more support. So I wonder how it's developing public versus private. That's the one thing.
It's a good question. I mean, based on what reports, it seems like the U.S. did work with the Israelis to kind of fool the Iranians. And that was very positive. No question about it. The Israelis caught the Iranians with their pants down. They completely shocked them. That's how they were able to kill all those senior officials. And the nuclear scientists.
Yeah, it's funny because we all knew there was something coming, I guess we didn't know what, or Iran certainly didn't know what, otherwise those people wouldn't have been home. You're not going to sit in your apartment if you, but they knew, the United States got our people out, and it wasn't like it was a surprise Israel did something, but I guess the specifics were a surprise, certainly to Iran. I mean, they had to be.
It had to be, you're right. I think coming into this, we thought, the reporting seemed to suggest, well, let's see what happens in Oman with the talks between, and then Israel will assess, and then we'll go from there. And maybe the Iranians will concede enough. That will be. But obviously, for whatever reason, the Iranians were fooled, and that contributed. And by the way, I want to say I commend President Trump for whatever he has done. He also unblocked all the weapons that Biden had blocked last year. He has been very supportive of Israel,
Yep.
and he is so today. I just think right now, and maybe he's moving in the right direction, which would be good, but I think he needs to move more. I think, again, it has to be perceived by our adversaries that we are willing to defend our core interests,
Right.
which, again, preventing nuclear Iran is. We've had bipartisan consensus on this, and Israel is one of our closest allies. So if you're another ally and you look at this also, you say, what, the United States isn't even going to support Israel?
No, I get your points. I get your points, and thank you for sharing them. We're trying to get all kinds of different points of view as this unfolds. Thank you for coming in.
Well, my pleasure.
Studio,
Thank
Michael.
you.
All right, now still ahead here as we continue from Washington.